The feeling I get when playing basketball is just sort of happiness, really. It gives you a chance to sort of forget about any other stressful aspects of your life.
It's just freedom, really. So it gets me out of my everyday situations where I might be restricted. It just puts me on a level playing field to everybody else. Before basketball, I tried to take part in able-bodied sport the best I could, but being in a wheelchair at school, it really wasn't that easily done. So a lot of the time I was left by myself in a sports hall during PE at school.
In the first days when obviously my son was first born and he had his diagnosis, he was really keen to take part in sport, and there wasn't anything really local that he could join in.
I first started playing basketball through doing physio at hospital, and they would run sort of multi-sport days for all the kids with disabilities, and that's how it all started, really.
I think disability sport is more recognised now. I wouldn't say completely on an equal power to an able-bodied sport, but I think now society recognises more that people with a disability can achieve such, greater things in life as well. When we had the last Olympics and Paralympics, there was such a great participation from disability sports.
A lot of people, that would have been their first time seeing disability sport, so they've actually seen that it's not just put a load of people in wheelchairs there so they can do something. They actually see them as athletes.
Obviously the athletes, players now are so much more athletic, and there's so much more opportunity at younger ages. All the performance pathways and junior age groups are so well organised now, and you got players who are 15, 16, on the verge of becoming professional basketball players around Europe and representing Great Britain, and being up to playing under 23 age groups and almost elite athletes, straight out of school. So my school, in terms of sport, was quite good, to be honest. I was probably in the last generation of children who were born with a physical impairment that went to what was called a special school in those days, a school for kids with physical impairments. I owe a lot to the school attitude at the time to sport. I think that's changed now in many ways, because lots of kids are in mainstream education, and maybe sometimes they're like one child in a big group that's maybe got an impairment, so there's maybe not so much opportunity available. So, my personal experience was it was pretty good.
My school was abysmal. Through mine and my brother's experiences, there was nothing. He was bound to his wheelchair for a period of about a year, and nothing was done. He sat out PE, was offered to read a book, or it's the typical sort of story that he was offered to read a book or do some more revision. There was nothing in place.
And I think in schools now that teachers are more aware of that. Children with a disability don't necessarily just not want to join in. So I think the scope is there, and I think there's always room for improvement.
I believe in order to improve people's perceptions on the sport, we need to get into schools, coach at schools in lunchtime sessions, in PE lessons, get PE teachers more involved through doing their disability inclusion training. I think just making it a norm. So in PE, if the wheelchairs come out and they're going to be playing wheelchair basketball, they don't think, oh, what a joke, haha, this is fun, let's just push around and have a laugh. They see it as a competitive sport because it's encouraged by the teachers, their friends. More clubs in the area will grow from that because able-bodied people will want to join in, and then through one person, able-bodied person joining in, you might find one disabled athlete.
My best sporting moment would be I competed in the London 2012 school games. It was used as a trial event for the Paralympic Games.
I think tournaments like the school games are so good for inclusivity, because it takes away that separation, that by definition, really, the fact that it is inclusive means that you're getting youngsters who haven't ever maybe been exposed to disabilities and things like that they are actually seeing people as peers, and it's on a par, and everyone is in the same mix, and it's basically the sport that's different. The generations that go through those events, I think they come out the other end with a more open view of what the world is, really.
All the children that we get you know, new young children coming through, the first time they get on court and they're interacting with other children. I think the action, from the point of view from running the club, the sense of feeling that the children feel they're actually doing something good for themselves, and the participation. It's not always for me about the national or competitions and stuff like that. It's about them all taking part, keeping fit, having fun, and actually feeling good about themselves.
I think it's important for young people to get involved in disability sport, if they have a disability especially, because it keeps them moving, it can stop them getting illnesses or things like pressure sores if they use mobility equipment. But I also think it's important if they're not disabled, because it then stops that attitude in next generations of people thinking, they're in a wheelchair, they can't do something.
It also gave me a focus as a parent, and that we found something that we could all do together.
Sport's actually given me a career path to go down, so I've just finished studying a diploma in sports fitness and coaching. I'm now hoping to go to university as well to carry on sports science.
Basketball has changed my life by sort of making me more physically active, being able to represent my club first of all, and sort of my region and my country at the junior level, which I hope I can do at a more senior level in the future as well.
Through doing sport, I've realised what I actually am able to do. So if people tell me that I can't do something, I'll do it just to prove them wrong.